Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA instructor. I will let him tell you what his many titles are. Very talented person, Osmar Delima, otherwise known as Junior.
Hello everybody, thanks for having me. Like Futaba said, my name is Osmar Delima. I was named after my dad, so they call me Junior. They called me here today to speak a little bit to you guys, you know, talking about kids and kids getting in trouble and stuff like that. And I started here in this gym. I'm 23 years old today. I started here, I was about 13 or 14 years old. I started training jiu-jitsu, which is it's a lot of ground fighting. You have submissions, chokes, and whatnot. And I had a friend who got me involved in it. He was my first instructor, and he brought me here, and I started training. I trained for about 2 years, and after that, I kind of went away from it for a while, for a few months, and I was going to high school. I had just started going to high school, and that's the time when I got in the most trouble in my life, was when I quit training, and you know, you start drinking, doing drugs, and all kinds of stuff, getting involved with gangs. And after that, I went to juvenile hall, and for almost a year. And you know, my brother and my sister would know. They would always preach to me, you know, you need to go to church and you need to change your life. And God was always there, always taking care of me. There were so many things that happened to me, and if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here right now. And even before I went to the juvenile hall, they already preached to me, my brother and my sister. And so when I went in there, and I had a lot of time to think, and I had a lot of time to think about my future and think about what I was gonna do. And I impacted a lot of people's life in there, a lot of kids. And when I got out, I changed totally, you know. And the sport, jiu-jitsu in itself, it was a tool that God used to change me. You know, today, what I do is I fight MMA. I'm a professional fighter, and MMA is it's punching and kicking, and you know, it's basically like everything. You know, you do it. And I started in jiu-jitsu. You know, I've been training now for about 9 or 10 years, and that was my main sport. After that, I started training boxing and Muay Thai and everything, because you have to know a lot. That's why it's called mixed martial arts. You know, anybody can come in, whatever you know. If you know karate, taekwondo, whatever you know, you can come in, and you just put your martial arts to the test. So after I got out, that was back in 2006. I got out, and some guy told me, you know, I never thought about fighting MMA. I just did jiu-jitsu. And this guy told me one day, he said, hey, I want to see you in the cage, because we fight in the cage. He's like, I want to see you in the cage one day. You know, it never hit me. I never thought about fighting MMA. So at that time, I was 18 years old, and I said, I'm going to try it. So at the end of the year, 2006, that's when I did my first fight, and I won, and my record now is 8-1. I'm fighting professionally. And, you know, it's just amazing, you know, what sports and whatever you get yourself into, and you keep your mind busy, you don't have enough time to get in trouble. And also, I got to thank for my family. You know, if it wasn't for the family that I have, you know, my father, my mom, and my stepmom, always fighting for me, always, you know, battling, you know, never giving up on me, no matter what. You know, I wouldn't be here and have all the accomplishments that I have today. And you know, and I got God to thank for using, you know, certain people like Jimmy and Futaba, because I started here about 10 years ago, and you know, there wasn't one single thing that I asked them and they said no. I was always helped, you know, whenever I came in here. I mean, when I come in and talk to Jimmy, you know, it's amazing, you know, all the wisdom that he passes on to me, and that's what saved me. Because when I quit training when I was 16, that's when I got in the most trouble. So if you keep busy and you keep your mind, keep everything together, and you gotta fight for it, you know. And everything in life, there's a price. You don't just, people don't just give it to you, you know, so you have to really fight for it. And you know, I had one loss, which was really bad. I got knocked out, and that was my second pro fight, and it was a struggle, you know, because, you know, it was, you lose and you think, wow, you just don't know where to go from there. But you know, God strengthened me, and I came right back, and you know, I've been undefeated for five fights now. And in 2009, I won my first title at world, you know, a rebel fighter, world featherweight champion. And this is just the beginning, you know. There's a lot of people I teach classes with, starting to teach classes here, you know, adults and kids, and I'm able to, you know, impact a lot of people's life and tell them a little bit about my life. You know, I teach people, you know, adults, kids, you know, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and you know, 30-year-olds, and they just, you know, they train with me, and they think it's amazing how, you know, I'm only 23 years old and I have, you know, so much to teach them. Obviously, I always learn too. You know, my students teach them, and I always learn something. When you start teaching, you learn so many things. And just want to let everybody know, if you have kids or, you know, whatever it is, and all the kids in here too, it's very important that you keep your mind busy with something, and you know that because you do it for love. You know, whenever you do something for love, you know, there's nobody that can take that away from you. It's your knowledge, the sport, whatever it is. Like they were dancing here, you know, you can see the passion. So that's about it. So I mean, you know, God used the tool to change my life, you know, which is, and my dream, you know, is to go to the UFC, and that's the biggest league in, you know, in the sport that I do, you know, and just keep going forward and forward with it. I had a shoulder surgery in June, and I haven't fought in a year. You know, it was a struggle, and I was really upset because I had never gotten hurt that bad. You know, I had a fight, and I first got hurt in March. I was just starting to train for a fight, you know, because you go through so much, you know, to fight. You have to drop 15, 20 pounds. You have to train 6 weeks straight. You know, I train 3 times a day. You have to train weightlifting, conditioning. You train boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. It's so many sports that you need to train, and it's, so when I got hurt, you know, I said, what am I gonna do? You know, I cried. You know, I was like, this is my everything. This with you know, fighting is everything for me. You know. But you know, as time goes on, you know, you step back and you open your eyes and you look at the bigger picture. You know, I was able to put in a lot of time for my students. I developed a lot of students. You know, they got so much better because, you know, I wasn't focused on myself anymore because I wasn't fighting. So I was able to put in time in the academy and teaching them, and you know, getting them better, and you know, just learning all sorts of things, like starting class here, and I'm starting to personal training now. So I mean, it's just a blessing. Everything that happens to you, I think there's always a reason for it. You just gotta be able to open your eyes and not be stubborn about it. You gotta open your eyes and say, what is God doing, you know, right now, and what can I do to make this a positive opportunity instead of being just a negative opportunity. So I just want to thank you guys again for having me, Jimmy, Tama.
Masai and I, we had the opportunity just last night to go watch MMA, which is mixed martial arts, full contact fight with Junior. And it was amazing the amount of older people that came and gave this gentleman praise. You know, I was really impressed by Junior. But let me also mention that he's also a father and a husband. He's like 23 years old, father and a husband, very responsible person, and we're really looking forward to having Junior here doing mixed martial arts. So not just for men, not just for boys, but also and especially for women. So if anyone has a desire to come up and try MMA, it'll start here next week. And please feel welcome to come, okay? And one thing I want to brag too, brother has the same birthday as me, so I love it. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Keep up the spirit. You support a lot of people. God bless you, man. Thank you. Right. Osmar and Delima, folks. Okay, so we have a special act that's coming up. someone that I take pride in. I won't try to take too much of his accomplishment, but this next act coming up is 14